Hey.
Hi.
So my question for today is why does there seem to be such a huge dislike between the Bulgarian community and the Bulgarian Roma community, or Gypsies as we'd say in the UK? And by the way, when you're in Bulgaria, the image that comes up when you say Gypsy is completely different to the image that may come in your mind from here in the UK.
Now, there is a problem with pikers or gypsies.
What you doing, Potter? Get out the way back.
Can't really understand much of what is being said.
So here in the studio today we have a real live Bulgarian who, who is hopefully going to shed some light on that. Why is there such a hate between the two of you?
So I myself have not had a problem with the gypsy in Bulgaria before. Actually, when I was younger, I had a friend, a few friends, but one friend that was better, like a better friend than other friends.
So there's one gypsy better than the other, yeah?
No. But yeah, he was a nice friend and a hardworking friend who, even when we were very young, he was working. I don't know if that's allowed, actually, child labor, but he was working whilst he was studying before the working age, before I even thought about working. And I started working when I was 16. So he must have been like, I don't know, 13, 14. And I always respected him that he's so, like, so thinking forward and a nice person, basically, a respectful person.
That's your personal point of view. But you said that when you were growing up, you may have heard different things from other people and whatnot.
Yeah. So I think the main problem that Bulgarian people have with the Roma community is that they don't seem to want to integrate, and there's different strands coming out from this. For example, it is kind of a well-known fact that, and that's obviously not everyone, but a big part of them they steal a lot and they damage property that's not theirs.
So let me stop you there. So when you say that, you're not just saying this from hearsay. This is actual fact, would you say?
Yeah, and even in my hometown, for example, we've had because that would lead me to my next point, but they refuse, for example, many of them to send their children to Bulgarian schools, and Bulgarian schools generally are free until 12th grade. Now, the education system is a little bit different than in the UK. We go up to 12th grade in school, and then we go to university. There's no college, so basically, all your time in school, you can have the education for free.
Mm-hmm.
And they refuse to send their children, and then they teach them how to steal, and that is almost like, when I say how to steal, it's supposed to be almost like an art, because there has been certain lights in the city center of my whole hometown where you know that you have to be very careful, because if somebody, a Roma person is crossing the street with you, and it's usually children, they kind of have an organized thing that they do where they take your wallet, and by the time you even turn around, they've passed it on to somebody else who's running across the street, who's passed it on to somebody else. So that's the kind of thing that they do. I mean, not everyone again, but instead of going to school, and that's that's refusing to integrate. And it made me think, actually, when we were talking about this, if they think that there is something wrong with the Bulgarian education system, why can they, and maybe they have tried, I'm not sure how it works, because I'm sure you have to have a government approved school, but why can they not create their own school? They have their own language, so I wouldn't see anything wrong if they feel like something is wrong with the Bulgarian schools, with them creating their own school, for example.
And I guess it's also a clash of, there's definitely a clash of cultures there. Because they do think. Didn't I hear a story a few months back or something about how they gave them some flats or something? And was it true that they took their donkeys upstairs?
Yeah. I don't know if it was a few months back, but yeah, there's many stories like this. So the government, another thing that Bulgarian people are not happy about is that Roma people exploit the government support. So for example, you get child benefits like everywhere, but because of their culture and traditions, they get pregnant very early, even before 18, and the more children you have, the more benefits you're going to get. But sometimes you don't just get money, you get accommodation. So there was a story that, and I'm sure it's not the only one, where a whole new block of flats has been built to place Roma families in there. And a few months later, the government has gone to check if everything is all right. And they've stripped up the building to sell whatever they can. That's another thing, they sell stuff to survive, I guess. So they've taken the windows or sometimes the doors or whatever they can sell, and inside the furniture they've only left like a mattress that they can sleep on, and on top of everything they've brought their donkeys and sheep upstairs with them in the flat to live.
I shouldn't laugh.
So their
That's
cattle.
bad.
But it is bad because it's destroyed. Like, this is not, I don't know, maybe there has to be some kind of an education in place from the Bulgarian side to say this is not what you do and this is how you take care of your home. But because they live generally in such bad conditions, they live in ghettos, I guess for them they just try to make those flats to be closer to what they know, not knowing, unknowingly maybe destroying them and not thinking that they're making their own condition of living worse.
Right. It's literally a case of across like the film 8 Mile, where Eminem, one side of the street was all the rich community, and the other side of the street with people living in poverty, and they lived by a completely different set of rules. And where they did integrate, it was almost is an impossible thing to do under most circumstances, because they wouldn't be mixing together in a library, or they wouldn't be mixing together in a park. So to move forward, how could they mix together, do you think? How could they integrate? What could be done to make things better? Because there must be something that can be done to make things better. There must be something.
I mean, if you have an idea, do let me know, but that's probably like a million lev question. I don't know, like, I'm sure the government has tried different things, but the tension during the years has risen up, and, you know, there has been violence from both sides, intimidation, the stealing, it all amounts to, just not be able to stand each other. And I know that they live in very bad conditions, but the way what Bulgarian people usually would say is that it's their choice, you know, they've given them different types of support to put in place so they're not in this situation, and they still choose to be in this situation, maybe because that's how they always lived, you know, and that's what they know. But I don't know what can be done, because I'm sure something can be done. Like, there is people around the world in different countries that are from different ethnic backgrounds, and they have managed to find ways. So I've always thought to myself, when I hear a good story from another country, is like, can we just not copy and paste the same framework and just try that? I don't know.
Yeah.
It is just, it's such a shame, because, you know, we're all people, and I you know, nobody wants to live in bad conditions, and nobody wants to be mean towards each other, to be afraid of each other, and it's just an ongoing situation. I remember when I was once with my mom and my gran in London on the London Underground, how two Roma women, I didn't know it at the start, but they just entered the very quickly as the doors were closing, the tube, and they put on the floor, like very loudly in the middle of the floor, they were just like attracting attention, these two huge bags of stuff, and then they started taking them out, and there were clothes with the tags on and like the other things on, and then they started talking in Bulgarian, and I was like, I kind of wanted to sink in my seat, because I was like, these things are stolen. They're talking in Bulgarian.
So people are going to associate Bulgarians with that kind of behaviour.
Yeah, and that's another thing maybe for people abroad that people kind of hate, is that, you know, sometimes that you might, because you're speaking Bulgarian, you might not make the difference and think to yourself that any Bulgarian would rob you or do
That's
something
true.
to you.
That is true on a serious and sad note, because if I never, before I met you, I didn't know any Bulgarians. At least I didn't know them because I didn't speak to them, so I didn't know. I didn't know any Bulgarians. So if the first Bulgarian I met was a Roman Gypsy, then that's what I would think Bulgarians are generally like in the UK. The same way you probably get, it's very ignorant, the same way you get some person who would think that one African person is just like a Jamaican person. Because they're completely different. Even in Africa, you can get someone from Ghana who's completely different to someone in Ethiopia. You know, it's a very ignorant thing.
Another big problem is that it's known that gypsies are, their vote is very easy to buy. So when there is elections for president, unfortunately, it's known that like something like a very small amount of money, like, I don't know, like 5 lev probably, or a meal of some, how do you call it, like a grilled, not steak, but...
Happy.
no, like kebabcha and küfte, like, you know, the grilled. Do you remember them? You've had them?
The sausage things.
Yeah. So like a few sausages would buy your vote basically.
Okay.
Their vote because they are so hungry or they're so desperate or they don't really care actually who is going to be in power because nothing really changes for them. So their vote is very easily purchased, which is sad, and it's sad that there is politicians anyway that would do that in the first place.
It's
So I'm not saying that
blame
it's
on both
only
sides, I guess,
yeah
in that
exactly.
respect. What do you guys think? And again, please, if there's anybody out there from that community, we want to hear from you. Until next time.
Bye.